LEDs installed. These are green LEDs. If you go with a white light, it's going to make these orange. So I put the factory bulbs back in because the LEDs cast a nasty shadow on the back of the LCD screen here. So it looks better with the factory bulbs behind the screen. And I wanted to see how it looked with the two different colors, and I'm not disappointed. I like having the orange there. All you need for this is your key, a screwdriver, and a trim removal tool. So first, take out your ashtray, put it to the side, not start it, but turn on your car. Make sure your parking brake is on. Shift backwards so you have more room. Now this down here, you kind of just want to pop it a nice firm tug. There we go. There. That's how I do it. May not need the trim removal tool. Sometimes it comes in handy to get it in over here. Pry those out, but see, didn't even need it today. Now, you might disconnect the lighter to give yourself a little bit more room when you're taking this thing out of here. You can kind of squeeze it out if you want to, but it's easy to remove this. You just pull the bottom one, pull it. This one with your thumb, you press that down, pull that out. So that's easy. And this, I think this is just a light that screws in. There we go. So that's enough room to work with this. You're gonna have 4 screws with your screwdriver on the sides. Okay, now that you have the AC cluster out of the dash, you need to disconnect the plugs in the back. So these just have a little tab on the top of the plug. You press down and pull out. Simple, but sometimes these can be a pain in the butt to pull out of there. Just they're kind of tight in there. Then you're going to remove screws on the side of the AC cluster. 1, 2. You got 2 on the other side as well. And then you have to sort of pry this. Now put your car back in park. Turn off your car. Take the key out. Yes, there are 4 screws on the back of here. You're going to have to take those off also. And then you can pry off these tabs. Bear with me. 3 and 4. It's going to slide out. You want to pull it straight because it has these pins in here. You don't want to bend them or damage that whole thing. Now you've got your AC cluster removed. I've already taken 2 of the lights out. Sorry, 1 of the lights out. Those are the incandescent bulbs with the green caps. I'll throw that in my ashtray. Okay, so what I found was that these wouldn't go in with my fingers, so I found a small screwdriver. I was able to push them down gently and gently twist them in. This is a nice feeling to finally have these lights again. Here's the problem. You see those shadows on the LCD screen? Those are very noticeable, very dark. Yeah, there we go. Pro tip, because these LEDs are bipolar, like your X, you have to mark their orientation. I put these little scratches on the right hand side of all of these. That's after I got all the lights working. You wouldn't want to do it right at first. because then you have half of them wrong. You messed up your whole system. So I'm going to take these out and figure out why I'm getting these weird shadows. Hopefully I can kind of fix the weird shadows. But then I'll have to put them back in, so my scratches will help. Don't forget to put your 4 screws back on. It can be easy to forget that because it clips on pretty well. Put these bracket screws back in on the sides. Next, don't forget to plug it back in. Put your key in. Hold the brake, parking brake on. Shift back again. Now you're going to start putting it back together. When you put this back in place, it has the 2 little nubs there to help you line it up. If you are having trouble getting them to set on there, then you must have some kind of wiring issue behind it. Take care of that gently. Never force something into place when you have wiring behind it. You don't want to mess up your wires. Then screw in your last 4 screws and pop the panel back on. Don't forget to plug in your lighter again. Get that on there. Just a quick tip, if you're ever working on your stereo in the Solara and you have a factory stereo in here, I learned the hard way that the hazard light, the plug for the hazard light is the same exact size as the plug for a different item on the back of the stereo. And I drove around for weeks because it was blowing a fuse after I installed my stereo, and I didn't have any turn signals for weeks until I finally figured that out on accident by messing with everything. So just a quick little tip there. Let's see how this looks, guys. Let's see how it looks. I decided to take off the caps for the actual bulbs. So it turns out you can use incandescent bulbs here and LEDs throughout here. Earlier I thought you couldn't because I'm a knucklehead and I had my dimmer set all the way down to pretty low. So when I tried, see, I thought the light wasn't coming on because it was very dark like that. I had my dimmer down. So now I can see that. Now I like these LED dash lights to be pretty low. So I have a conflict of interest because this isn't very bright. Unless I turn the dimmer up a little higher than I want my LED dash lights. But I think that looks pretty cool with the orange and the green. I think that looks pretty nice. Styling.